Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, and welcome, friends and family from around the world, to the Energetic Life Now show. I am your host, Eric Stenlake. It's great to have you guys here. Whether this is your first time watching the show or you're catching the replay, we want to extend a warm welcome to you and your families wherever you are dialing in from. Today's show is on the Spanglish World and Her networks on Zingo TV channels 250 and 251. As you download the Zingo TV app, remember it is free and it's on the iOS and Android devices. Give us a like, comment, a share, anything of that nature, and we would love and appreciate you for that. Zingo TV, friends, is also available on the Google Chromecast, the Amazon Fire, the Fire TV Sticks Roku, and Roku Sticks, and on all smart TVs 2016 and forward. Hey, what's good in the neighborhood? Energetic Life Now, friends and family. I am excited today to welcome back to the show your friend and mine, and we recognize her lovely smiling face. And before we get into this show today, Cindy, who has been a regular guest appearance maker on the show, we have devised something really fun and unique for you guys today, which is Wednesday, September 29th. And then again tomorrow on Cindy's show, which is going to be absolutely fantastic. So, Cindy, why don't you give us a bit of an intro, expand upon what the heck is Eric talking about, and fill us in on all the good fun that is happening in our worlds.
Yes. Thank you for having me back. I love being here. And Eric is also a regular fan favorite guest on my show, Create Your Victorious Life, which is tomorrow. So we're doing this in part one and part two. We never seem to have enough time to chat. We've always got, like our mentor, Joseph McClendon III says, and lastly, and we have so many of those, right? And lastly, so what we're doing is we're doing our holiday edition. It's actually in between the major holidays. Of course, we just had Thanksgiving, and we recognize that even what's good in the neighborhood, even being in a neighborhood in the holidays is stressful or can be. Oh my gosh, I didn't get my decorations up yet, and look at Eric's house. Holy smokes, how did he pull that off? He's got even reindeer and a Rudolph, whatever, all that stuff. And you just want to get this out there. And, all of things create, potentially create stress in our holiday time. So we wanted to talk with you about having joy and peace and focus and calm and even potentially healing and other wonderful things during the holiday season, where you can actually still have, 2000 or 2023. My mantra was 2023. It's an epic year for me. You can close this year out with an epic, bang and celebrations, and even catch yourself right now today, make some even slight shifts, and create so much joy for yourself and for your family and for your loved ones. So that's what we're doing the next 2 days. So we're excited you're here with us, Eric.
Awesome. Yay. I love this. And I love the idea that we had coming up with this because, like you said, we always seem to be running out of time. We're watching the clock. And we're like, oh my gosh, we got 2 minutes left. How are we going to wrap this up? Right. So being able to extend this out to 2 shows, I think, is going to be really, really fun and enlightening, not only for us, but for the listeners from around the world. So, I know that this time of year is exciting. It's magical. It's Christmas time, all over the world. And it was funny as I was having I know this is hysterical, having my hair done today by CJ Ramirez, the Cutthroat Barber. And by the way, CJ, bang up job, brother. Thank you. Bam. I love you, man. He is my hair artiste. And, as we were sitting there talking today, in the chair, because that's what we do as guys. We shoot the crap, if you will, in the barbershop, and talking about what things were so great about Thanksgiving and being together with family, and going through the craziness and of it, and then talking about looking at the Christmas traditions and the holiday and all that good fun, and we both came to this realization that, you know what, yes, this is a really fun and great time, and friends and family and good food and presents and all that great stuff, but we're also really mindful, I think, right now, as we were both discussing the kind of the it seems like there's a heaviness in the world right now with the things that are going on, over in Israel and Palestine, the Congo, and different places like that. And so Cindy and I, as we were talking about this as well, we wanted to come on and just say, listen, if this is you when you're in the midst of this heaviness, how do we really navigate ourselves through that to find those joy moments, those opportunities to look at something and say, wow, that brings me joy, that brings a sense of peace and a light, into that heaviness that's weighing down, and makes it a little bit lighter. Not that we're ignoring things that are going on, maybe within our family units and or around the world and different things of that nature, but that we can, really intentionally stay focused on, the joy that's surrounding us in our lives. So I know we talked about the holiday edition of Calm in the Chaos, and let me tell you something. Even though my kids are 24 and 21 and 18, there's still this fun air about things, right? My daughter sent in a Christmas list. She she sent in her Christmas list to Jen and I last night, and it's about this long. And here's where we've come, right? You and I, we grew up, and it was like we waited for the J.C. Penney catalog, the Sears catalog, maybe the Toys R Us, catalogs, right? And we would circle all the things we dreamed about having, and yada yada. Here comes this list from my daughter, and it has all the items with the Amazon links to them.
I have grandbabies that do that. I love it.
With the Amazon links to it. I'm like, what? Like, we don't even have to even leave the house these days to go out going shopping, right?
Right?
Right? And Eduardo says you shouldn't complain. I got my 8-day Hanukkah list. Yes, absolutely, Eduardo. So it's the Christmas list, it's the Hanukkah list, it's everything else. Absolutely. We got all these lists of things coming in and at us. So what are some of those things that are maybe on your list, Cindy, of whether it's your to-dos or things that you are looking at, like, hey, I got to get this ready. I got to take care of this. Like, what's on Cindy's to-do list?
Oh my goodness. The fact that we're streaming right now on my to-do list, I can see 10 feet from me, my totes with my Christmas decorations, my holiday stuff. I'm like, I need to hang these things up. I mean, seriously, I only like fresh trees. So I need to get my tree. I mean, and that's a family event and been, forever. And, then we get together and then there's all the meals because we get together to decorate mom's house. So, or grandma's house. And so there's the meals and there's the cool cocoa with the marshmallows and the candy canes and the, all the goodies, right? Those things. But I'm going to tell you what's on my list the first of the day, because we want to set you up to be successful in creating that joy. So I set my intention before I'm even out of bed. And some of the things that I do on a regular basis every single day mean more to me even during this kind of time where things are even, I've already got 20 things on my list and I just added all those things, right? And so getting up like you do, I know you do this, tanking 8 ounces of water before I get out of bed, jumping up and being thrilled, like literally, I instantly start to rehearse everything I'm grateful for out loud. And I say, thank you. I do my prayer time, my meditation time, my praise and worship time. I get in the word. There's things that I do every morning that give me that peace and that calm, and also move some of the other stuff out of the anxiety lane, that could potentially knock me out. And then, and then it gives me the opportunity and the ability to really hear myself, to hear whether it's the Holy Spirit, if you're praying, meditating, whatever, just to hear that guidance of these are the things you do today, that matter most. And then that's, the other thing with the list is, of course, you and I both have businesses. We both have, we have families. And just because it's the holiday time and they give you, which I love that your daughter did that, talk about save you some time, right?
I know.
I know. I get those even on birthdays now, which I'm so stoked. Yeah. But even with those lists, you still have the daddy-daughter time that you need to have just as a normal. You do the breakfast, you take the ones to school, you do the things, the time, and all of that matters, right? Because we're coaches, we have components because these are tough for some of our clients.
And we definitely want to recognize that, and great time then right now to say that, like, Cindy and I are, as coaches, if you're struggling this holiday season in anything at all, please reach out to Cindy and I. We're here to support you, to serve you, to love you. Anything that you guys need, please don't feel that you're going through this holiday, if it's a struggle for you, alone. You have us. Reach out, and we'll be there for you. 100%. So, we've got these to-do list things, if you will, and they're stacking up, and unless Cindy, you're like me, that had their tree up before Thanksgiving. Just don't tell anybody.
I love that.
You had the outside lights up before Thanksgiving. Just don't tell anybody. Don't tell anybody. It's like, no, you can't do that. We can't rush through the seasons like this. We have to give Thanksgiving its own thing. Okay. It's always been its own thing. And I'm like, get out of here. It's the holiday season, right? Let's just launch it. Let's just, once Halloween is done, let's just go. Let's have some fun. Because I'm like, I want the tree up. That's my joy. I love it. And by the way, I even got them right here. Lights on my little tree right here. But no, right here, past my desk is my Christmas village. I got my trees over there. I got lights going over there. The whole room is on. Why? Because that's my space of getting the joy. I want to go back to what you said about the intention of starting your day. And so let's go back into that, because it was really great yesterday. We're in a group with John Maxwell's Speakers Bureau. And we had a Zoom yesterday, and it was so beautiful because we had our tabletop speeches, if you will, of which is kind of an impromptu thing. And we get a question, and it gives us time to kind of just go through. And the whole focus yesterday was on gratitude, right? And the question came around, to me, and it was something around the lines of, what is gratitude, your daily gratitude routines look like? And I just sat back and I just started smiling for a second. And everybody that was on the Zoom, they started smiling too. They didn't even know why. They were smiling. They're just smiling because I'm smiling. They don't even know what's happening, what's about to transpire here. And then I started with the day. Like, I wake up, I open my eyes. What am I seeing? First thing what am I seeing? Is that family picture? Is it my Christmas tree? Is it the sun shining outside? And bam, there's my gratitude right off the bat. I'm looking around, finding those spots those glimmer shining moments of gratitude, if you will, right off the day. And then I kind of walk through a couple of things. I knock down that 8 ounces of water to get that electricity moving. And then I come downstairs and I make that pot of coffee. And there's something about wrapping your hands around that warm cup of coffee, giving it a good sniff. Oh, that smells so good. And then just taking that first sip of that warm, hot coffee. Oh my gosh. Like those are my joy moments to start the day, right?
Yes.
And I love that. And so, we're talking about this, friends, because wherever you are in the world, you can start your day or bookend your day, end your day in those moments of joy, even when there's chaos, even when there's stressors of life that are coming at us. What can you intentionally look at and be in that space and moment to say that joy is going to bring me that peace and calm in the chaos?
Yeah. I think it's so important that is a focus, like, and that you make it, you and I both know, if it's not a habit, it's so easy to get distracted by your phone. Let's just start there, by your phone, and just move on from that. And if you have, children at home, there goes that, because their needs, and then your spouse or whatever. If you have to get up, be a part of the 5 a.m. club, whatever you need to do those things and move your body. One of the things you mentioned earlier was the heaviness that people are feeling in, whether it's what's going on in the Middle East, all those different things in Israel, et cetera. And to mitigate that heaviness, there's some really simple things that people can do that just shorten it up a little bit. And part of that is with your own physical body. Because during the holidays, I know this because I'm a baker and I love to cook and I like to create, and and you don't cook things without tasting them. If you do, then what's the point?
Sure.
And so you've got all the extra goodies and things, and there's that potential, of course, of packing on some heaviness even in a little bit. So be mindful, to use your word they used earlier, even about simple things like drinking a lot of your water. You and I both are big, huge, proponents of drinking ketones, medical grade therapeutic ketones. Both of us drink those. We doing things, move your body in the morning. If you even have to just jump up and down in place, smile, look up at the ceiling like you and I do, smile till you feel it in your fingertips and your toes. I'm going to tell you, that's an instant joy getter. Like it'll shift you instantly. And then drink your, I know a lot of people say drink half your body weight in ounces of water,
right?
Whatever it takes to just keep your body feeling light.
Yeah.
When your body feels light, and your space. The other thing too is to address that heaviness, your space. Like, I don't know, go look at your your passenger seat of your car or the floorboards and tell me if you got Taco Bell, or if you've been to McDonald's or Chick-fil-A or whatever,
napkins, ketchup packets.
Exactly. Mail,
mail,
junk mail, all of that, whatever that is, kids' lunches they didn't eat, whatever, and just even a little bit of, let me just, when you pump the gas, let me clean my car out real quick, and all the big gulp glasses you got rocking, or, whatever, water bottles, the other thing, all of that stuff, because those are things that create lighter environments, and they take that frequency, if you will, that energy, if you will, of heaviness up and help to get rid of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Because, and I think, for me, whether it was consciously or subconsciously, I think over the years, I've learned to look at this stretch of time in the holiday season. And I've learned to be okay with things not being perfect.
Okay. Yes.
And especially as a parent, listen, parents, if you've got little ones out there, like, listen, I totally get it. Those were those were the days. Jen and I still laugh about the worst Christmas Eve in our lives was when we were trying to put together this Matchbox skull racetrack thing for the boys, and we couldn't get that stupid thing together, and it drove us nuts. It's midnight. We're like, we gotta go to bed, like
Right.
and we can't we can't get this Matchbox card thing together. And I'm like, I'm ready to throw it out the door and just say, you know what? They're not getting it. Screw it. We're taking it back because we just can't get it together. And it's in those moments that we just stop and pause and go, what are we doing?
Right.
Like, just relax. It's not worth the heaviness
No.
to take that into this special time. And so step back and just put a
Right.
big smile on your face and go, you know what? It's going to be okay. It's going to be great. So I'm saying that because parents, listen, I get it. We want everything to be perfect. We want the table to be perfect and the presents and this and that and all that to be perfect. Do what is going to be best for you. Do what's going to be healthy and good choices for you and your family over
Mhm.
the holidays.
Right.
And it's funny because we're talking about my daughter's ginormous list, and at the same time we're all going, what do we need presents for this year? And this was like the first time in our family we're looking at each other going, what do we want? I don't need anything.
Right.
I don't need anything. I don't want anything.
Right.
And it's interesting because it's like for me personally, I'm kind of like looking at what's going on around the world, and I'm like, why do I need to be buying gifts and receiving gifts with monetary things when there's people in great need,
Mm.
right? And
Mm.
so now I'm looking at some of these joy moments of giving back to the community. What can I do? And for instance, last week I had my dear friend on, Melissa Shipman, talking about her Life and Ladle candles. And if you missed that episode, go back and watch it. Life and Ladle. She has her candle company, and you buy these candles, and that one right there is enough to feed a family of 4 in
Wow.
the Phoenix metro area. So you buy this candle,
Wow.
great, it's wonderful, and she takes the proceeds from that and goes and works with the food distribution there in the greater Phoenix area, and it's enough to feed of 4 people, and so those are the things that I'm looking at in my moments of joy.
Yep.
This holiday season. And it's funny how this is like shifting, whether I realized it or not. And like, in all seriousness, if I wake up on Christmas morning and there's nothing there, I won't care. Because what? I'm gonna have that beautiful warm cup of coffee, the tree with the lights on, and I'm gonna be happy as a clam.
100%.
Happy as a clam.
Well, and things that really, in addition to that, things that really matter, creating service projects with your family that you can
Mhm.
sow into other people, making those happy memories, creating the meal together, doing those kinds of things, doing homemade gifts that are like, we have so many, think of your children, so many talents, things that they can create and put together
Yeah,
and
yeah,
do. And I love, like, even writing me a letter, writing, doing some of those kind of fun things.
yeah.
There's just so many things that you can do that will bring you those tangible pieces of joy,
Mhm,
those
mhm.
tangible moments. And that's really cool that your family came to that conclusion, like,
Yeah.
and I promise you, they probably still want a couple things from that Amazon list, but
That's for sure. Yeah, let's be real.
let's
No,
be
I
real.
don't need nothing except for
Except, yeah.
this much of the list.
Exactly. There's other things that I remember one year, I think it was my mom gave me, she had bought through, I don't know what ministry or whatever it was, or it might have been, the Children's Network or something,
Uh-huh.
where you pay a certain amount and then that family gets like 10 chickens and 2 goats and
Yeah.
whatever. And that is like the coolest, right? I mean, to
Mm-hmm.
me, those are like the most fun, really cool gifts, that you can actually give because you're really sewing into somebody's life. Like you said, there's so many people that are in need
Yeah.
right now,
Yeah.
and I love your lens of gratitude,
Mm-hmm.
of being able to focus on the gratitude piece, because that, I think, they go hand in hand when you're sewing into somebody else's life because you're
Yeah.
so grateful for what you have.
Yeah. So true. Like that gratitude piece. Like I'm looking at that saying, I am grateful for the opportunity to serve. I'm
Yes.
grateful for the way that I can take a plate over to my elderly neighbor's house,
Yep.
a plate of cookies, a something, invite them over.
Yeah.
Like on Thanksgiving, we had it was at the in-laws, and they had their elderly neighbor come over who had
Mm.
nobody, who had no family, who had no, and this little old man comes shuffling in and sits down and has a meal with us like he's one of the family,
That's
right?
so.
And it was, what can we do in our circles of influence to help to bless others this holiday season, right?
Right.
To stay in those moments and look at that moment of gratitude and come up with ideas of what can we do to serve others during this time. Because
Oh,
I guarantee that it's going to be great. It's going to meet their needs, but what it's going to do to fill you with love and gratitude
sure.
is almost more than you can imagine how that begins to come back, and so I'm grateful for those opportunities that arise in those moments.
You know what I think too, what to just kind of piggyback on that. One of the things that I think is really valuable is your time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
For your parents' neighbor, who knows how many visits they get. I was talking with somebody this morning and just talking about the value of a hug.
Mm.
you know um Being even an empty nester, and if you don't see your family often, and not being married, and all of those things, how often would I get that? And of course, but you think about even that neighbor. What if
Yeah.
his children don't even live close by?
Yeah.
And he walks, maybe he doesn't even have a mailbox, maybe his mail comes right through his door, who knows? I mean,
Sure.
what do you have? And you and I live in this Zoom and live streaming world where we give virtual hugs all the time, and yet it was great to see you a few weeks ago and to be
Mm-hmm.
able to give my dear friend Eric a proper hug. I mean, it was,
Yeah.
and there's something to be said with that. Even the endorphin, everything, that the dopamine, I mean, all of it that
Yeah.
physically happens, just that exchange of energy, even of love, of kindness, of grace, a smile. I mean, we go to the store, like
Yeah.
I avoid them all. I mean, I don't like, I love the fact that I can shop online. Like when the Amazon truck comes, I'm like, here comes Amazon, here comes Amazon. You know,
That's right. There it is.
I mean, it's like so great, right? And
Yeah. Yeah.
but but the stress, because and you've worked all day, holy cow, I've got this party, I've got the ugly sweater party, I got the white elephant thing, I got the kiddos, that my children have, the teachers, and blah blah blah,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
plus the family. And you think of all that, just a smile, and just like, you and I know you've done the mirror thing before. Have you ever gone to a mall or to a shopping place during a crazy frenzy time and smiled at somebody and mirrored them and just taken deep breaths, and then
Yeah.
you watch somebody just calm down
Yeah.
and they don't even realize that's what's happening? I
Yeah.
mean, what if that were your gift?
Honestly. All right, here we go. Challenge. Energetic life now, friends and family. Here is our challenge for the day. Be intentional the next time you leave your house and
Yes.
count how many times that you smile at people. And don't be offended if they don't smile back. They're probably going to think you're weird. What are they smiling at? Look at that person. Look at that freak. What are they smiling at? What's the matter with you?
And don't make
Don't
it
worry
weird.
about it.
Don't
Just,
make it
just
weird.
Just come genuinely from the heart and give them that beautiful smile and just have fun with it. I love to do those things, and I love the fact that people look at me like I got three heads on. It's okay. It's great because that means there's that connection. There's that heart connection. And even if they don't smile back, all of a sudden, a few minutes later, they're going to realize, oh, that person was being nice. That person was smiling at me. And then are they going to pay it forward? I can hope and pray they do, because look at that ripple effect that we're creating. So that's our challenge. That's our challenge, friends and family around the world. Find as many people you can today, tomorrow, to next week. Intentionally set that when you leave your house and smile at as many people as you can.
Yes. And reach out to us and let us know your experiences, because I guarantee you will have some pretty neat experiences and potentially even conversations, or just a, hey, thank you, or even see somebody's demeanor. When you said you hope they pay it forward, my hallucination is that they pay it forward when they get home even. They pay it forward. Let's say they had to run into the store, grab a few things before they made it home, and frantically get home and make dinner and do the things, right? Or just drive through Taco Bell and then take them dinner, whatever, but my hallucination is that they get home and they're just a little bit lighter.
Yeah, absolutely. Right? Absolutely.
And they pay it forward that way, which is so cool.
Yeah. My favorite place to do this, which I've done it many times, and now it's on my radar to make sure I do it before this week is over, is the Sprouts supermarket right here in San Clemente, California. So anybody on here from SoCal and knows San Clemente and the Sprouts market, that is my go-to place to go in and smile at everybody. So if there's anybody on Sprouts, corporate that know this, let's create it. Let's create this in Sprouts. Let's do it. Let's create a smile campaign of gratitude within the stores. I think that'd be fantastic. Let's do it. Let's campaign it. Smiles around the world during this holiday season. Look what we're doing. This is gonna blow up.
Planting the seed, and the smiles that are sprouting up around the world at Sprouts.
Bingo. There we go. Sprouts.com. Hire us as your smile chief smile officers right here. That's what we're going to do.
There you go. I can hear that phone ringing. Here we go.
That's right. Here they go. Oh, look, they're calling now. Hang on a second. Let me get this. Oh, my goodness.
So I have a question for you.
Yeah.
So how important are there some every year family traditions that you guys have, or that, that actually maybe because they're consistent in your family, maybe since you were a child or whatever, that bring you peace, that bring you joy, that bring you back to your heart?
Oh, such a great question. And my mind just went boom, because it's like, I got him. I'm ready to rattle them off. Are you ready? Here we go. First of all, on my side of the family, it's the Christmas tree, because the ornaments aren't just ornaments. They're pieces of history. They're moments in time of which happen throughout the year. I'm looking at my Christmas tree right now. There is not one ornament on there that is just an ornament. It's things that the kids made in school. It's ornaments that my parents gave me. And this is where the tradition started. They would give me ornaments based on things of interest to me, likes, achievements, things that I was involved in. I carry that on with my kids. And I'm looking at, there's a pink hair dryer Christmas ornament on the tree. Why? Because that was my daughter in middle school that took 2 hours in the morning to get ready. There's one of hers. It's an ornament of a girl taking a selfie.
Of course.
That is a great ornament. There's ornaments of video game stuff. I see Dr. Seuss, Cat in a Hat. I see, you're gonna crack up at this one. It's Bart Simpson sitting on Homer Simpson's knee, and Homer's dressed like Santa Claus, because my son Boston was in love with Simpsons, and it was always on that year, right? So there's all those moments. So that is a tradition right there in itself. And I have got some on that tree that were made by my relatives who are no longer here because they've passed on. that are part of that. Ornaments that we have that like Jen and my first Christmas together,
Right.
first babies, Christmas and things like that. Um, yeah, we have on Jen's side of the family. Um, oh, and by the way, of course, I have a New York Yankees, World Series, Christmas orders. New York Giants, of course, World, you know, uh, champions ornaments, things like that. On Jen's side of the family is Christmas Eve. Um, became something really great that about humbug Yankees. Get out of here! Just because Eduardo, our producer here, played against the Yankees, he's going bah humbug Yankees.
Humbug.
Yeah, that's great. That's great, Eduardo. Um, um, Jen's mother's family are from
Mhm.
Wales and England. One of their traditions are Christmas pajamas that we
Yep.
get on Christmas Eve, right?
Yep. That's cute.
And that is something that always happens. And so in the busyness, there is a timeout and a pause, and we go and meet up with Grammy, or she comes to the house and gives us all our Christmas pajamas, and then we all go and put them on, and that's great. And that's how we start Christmas morning in our Christmas jammies.
Yep.
And then Jen's grandmother, the kids Gigi, as they called her, um, as she was getting up there in years, we would pick her up and take her out to dinner on Christmas Eve. Or if we weren't going to Christmas Eve service that night, if we had gone to service the day before or whatever, that might be, then Gigi would go to Christmas Eve dinner with us, and then come back to our house, and she would be here in the morning, and that was always a very, very precious time. And now that Gigi's no longer with us, we still carry on the tradition of going and doing something on Christmas Eve in some capacity. Lately, it's been going down to the Dana Point Harbor and taking pictures within the Christmas lights and all that good stuff,
Oh,
and
fun.
and finding a beautiful place to eat right there along the harbor, and that's it. And it's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful traditions. How about you? What are some of yours? Share with us, if you will.
Always had the open the one present Christmas Eve, which was always jammies. Always
Uh,
jammies.
yep.
Still is. It's fun for me to see my children carry that on with their babies. So that's super fun, to see
Yep.
that tradition. And the other one is picking the tree out together,
Hmm.
and still, even though they pick out, typically we would, up until probably last year, picked out all of our trees at the same time, and now two of our households, they bought trees that they get to have the same tree every year, so
Yeah.
it is fine and great and grand. And the other thing is certain foods that
Mm,
are
yeah.
always a tradition. And one of them is this yummy orange cake, breakfast coffee cakey kind of orange.
Mm,
Yummy, so yummy for Christmas morning. There's
love it.
a certain kind of yummy jello, and just certain, casseroles and things that are just so indicative of that holiday that instantly may not be a comfort food to you, but it's kind of like how we both feel about that cup of coffee, right?
Yeah.
The minute that I even smell that, I'm like,
Hmm. Yep.
instant, yeah, calm amidst the chaos pieces. You
Hmm.
know, there's a lot, even the Christmas story, because for me, for us, so birthdays are huge in our family. We celebrate like your whole birthday week. I
Yeah.
mean, they're just huge. Well, for us and for me, and I know for you, Christmas is, even if it isn't his real birthday, we celebrate the birth of Jesus Christ. And so
Yep.
for me, that's really anchored in those pieces. And so going to certain different church services, different things, like you said, whatever service you're going to, and being able to do that is always fun. We like to, a lot of us in our family like to sing and stuff. So Christmas music, even though I didn't get my decorations out as early as you did, which I praise, I love that. The Christmas music is always rocking.
Yeah.
from that, before Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
I love
Mm-hmm.
it. I don't, I love the whole season. I love the joy. I love the colors. I like the lights. I do wrap my presents and watch Hallmark movies. I know how every one of
Yeah.
them is always going to turn out, but I love them anyway. I don't care.
I know. I know. So much love in the air.
Right, right. And the storyline, regardless of the
Yes.
story. When they
Yes.
announce we've got 8 new Hallmark movies. Okay, already. The hook, the whole thing, and you still want.
Somebody's in the country, somebody's in the city, and magically it happens.
Yes, yes, so funny. And the other things that as you were talking, I think about just little funny things like I save the gift bags if they're not torn apart. The ribbons, the bows. Do you do that?
Oh,
Right? And
100%.
right. And if one of my children gave me, like, if Nicholas or Olivia or Jessica give me a bag that says to, love, Santa, whoever, I'll use the same bag. Then what can I get to fit in that bag?
100%.
Right.
100%.
And then if
Yep.
not, if it was something to me, then I just slap another sticker on that sucker and
Yeah.
recycle.
Oh yeah, because those gift tags, they last a couple of years. You just cross out the name of who it was to, and you
Yeah,
write a new name in there. So when you're looking at, wait, who is this for? You're going through the names and which one's not crossed out.
that's what these Sharpies are for, right?
Yes, yes, yes. I am all for it. Yes, we have the
Yeah,
same bags for some of these bags 5, 6 years old, and yeah, yeah.
yeah. I mean, it's
Good,
super
good
fun.
money saving tip there for us
The
all.
things that I do kind of miss.
Hmm.
I grew up going Christmas caroling, which was a
Yeah,
blast.
yeah.
And nowadays that's just the way our world is. It's not, you can't just go knock on every neighbor's door and sing.
I
I love
know. Yeah,
doing that. And a lot of people were prepared, even though they didn't know we were coming. And they, there were plates of cookies and yummies and those kinds of things. That was super fun. And I would love for us maybe to think into tonight into some fun ways that we can create some of those moments and memories, even going into the kind of world that we have now. I would love
yeah.
to think into that we can talk about on our show tomorrow.
Mhm.
um I miss that, though. I think those were fun. I remember one Christmas, my favorite memory, one of my favorites, is that my mom and dad, one year we did Christmas, like a sub for Santa. And there was it was so fun. And there was, there were 7 of us children, and there was a family where the mother had passed away. I think one of the children
Mhm.
had like polio, and there were some issues, and they were living in an apartment. And when we were children, that wasn't as common now, because apartments weren't as common. And the father had been, I think, out of work or whatever. And so my mom had this great idea, and we kind of brainstormed doing the 12 days of Christmas. So the first night was the tree, the trimmings, all that good stuff. And what we decided to do, we didn't want them to know who we were. So we, pound on the door and run. Well,
That's
after like the
great.
third night, they caught on. And so, yeah. And we're like this Hawaiian family in Utah in winter. And it's so funny. So my mom has the car running because we're like, they're going to catch us. And
Yeah,
this is literally what happened back when it wasn't as illegal to do it as it is now. My
sure.
mom's like getting the car going. My brothers and I are literally busy on the back of this VW, hanging onto it, where on icy roads, as she's pulling away, dragging her children, which
That's
we were
hysterical.
laughing so hard, and it was so fun. But
Yeah,
it was the coolest thing. And then my parents, they said, pick out one present under the tree. We of course don't know what it is. That's for you. And that you're going to give that to one of
mhm,
their children. And
mhm.
we didn't know what they were. And I remember as a child, the excitement and the anxiety, like, what if it's something I would have loved? Right.
What
Like,
is it? What if it's my Atari 64 video game system?
exactly, and there was that. But it was the coolest
Yeah,
transformational experience. It
yeah,
was just beautiful to do that, to be able to do that. And there's, those of you that are out there that are looking for ways to serve and give, so many organizations have the giving trees and the things, and and you
Mhm.
probably know somebody that could use, even a parent or parents that could use some anonymous gift cards mailed to them to go to, hit the stores and get the goodies they need for their family, and
Mhm. Mhm.
just
Yeah,
ideas.
absolutely, absolutely. Circling back to thinking of the gifting end of this from a support standpoint, like really the people that need it the most. How can we bless them?
Mhm.
Understanding what people around us need. I feel like in our day and age, we've come to be very enclosed, if you will,
Sure.
as a household.
Yeah.
Whereas when we were growing up, we knew all our neighbors, we talked to all our neighbors, and
Right.
and uh, you could just go knock on the door, come on in, have a cup of coffee, and sit down and talk for a while. Where it's not like that. It's not like that anymore. And so making that intentional effort to understand what those needs are,
Mhm.
reaching out to people. uh,
100%.
I mean, I even saw there's been a Facebook ad running around about adopt a bee. And if you buy this little necklace, you will get a certification of you're adopting X amount of bees to, keep the bee population up. And
Wow.
what a fun idea. It's like there's a million things if you look at it. We did it
Yeah.
a few years ago where we supported a school in Uganda, and instead of
Mhm.
giving a gift to each member of the family, and back then this is when we literally did for every single member of the family. It was
Mhm.
ridiculous. And but a plastic, what you would say like a patio chair or something, the white plastic chairs or the green plastic chairs. I think they were about $10 a piece. And I think we ended up purchasing about I don't know, like 60, 70 chairs or something like that. We purchased some tables. We purchased a couple of goats, chickens. I think you said
Right.
that,
Right.
before. Because what would happen is these little children would walk up to 2 hours a day to get to
Mm.
this school in Uganda. And
Wow.
and and then when they get there, if there weren't enough chairs in the schoolhouse, they had to stand and somehow
Wow.
do their work as they're standing. And so, I would encourage you is to seek out those types of things. How can you get involved in those kinds of projects to
Yeah.
bless, whether it's locally or it's globally? We're talking about, like, where is the need? Where can you have positive influence in gifts of love this
Yeah.
season?
Yes. Well, and another thing too that I've found that is really fun is to be prepared when you
Yeah,
go shopping, when you go places, if you see a need and you have the ability to fill it,
yeah,
or even you can make little Eduardo, love that. You can make little baggies with toiletries,
yeah,
or
yeah,
like I live where it's cold, and so you can have like a hat and mittens. I mean, you
yeah.
can even hit the dollar store and get that stuff, right?
Sure.
And just drive around town, and you can just pass those things out to people that are, the homeless people that you see, or the things that are, and again, we're talking about
Yeah.
creating joy. So
Hmm.
that those things
Hmm.
bring enormous joy. Anyway, we got a minute.
Yeah, no, that's a great idea for a local project. Get gallon-sized baggies and throw in there, clean socks and some mittens and a couple little food items or something, a bottle of water,
Yeah. Toothbrush.
anything of that nature, and pass out to people that are around town that you see,
100%.
people that are holding a sign that says need help.
Yes.
No judgment, no
Right.
judgment of whether they need it or not. That's the gift.
Right.
That's
And
the gift.
and
Sorry, folks, we're laughing because our producer is going turkey barbecue. Because I promised I'm in Southern California. He's in Canada. I promised to send him turkey after Thanksgiving because I smoked turkeys, I think he might be a little bit bitter that he doesn't have a package of turkey at his house right now.
And let me just, before we close out too, just to
Yeah.
the point of the gallon bag, it
Yeah.
takes literally hardly any effort to throw some red or green tissue paper in there,
Yeah,
and maybe
easy.
something that honors that person that
That's
you're
right.
giving, toothpaste, toothbrush, little things, and the miniature
Mhm.
shampoos and conditioners, but to make it just pretty.
Yeah,
I mean, you
absolutely.
might think that's silly, but those things matter when you don't
They
have
do.
it,
They
you know,
do.
just to make it a holiday festive kind of thing. Anyway, thank you
So
for having
tomorrow, Cindy, what time is your show, of which we're doing part 2 of this on, of which I'll be joining you on your show tomorrow? What time
Yes,
is that for our listeners?
it is 3 o'clock Pacific and 6 o'clock Eastern. And so wherever you're at in the world, please do the math. Forgive me, I don't know all your
Yep.
time frames. And
Yep.
yes, and we will continue this right into tomorrow. It'll be fabulous. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Awesome. Thanks, Cindy. Thanks for joining us. It was a great part 1. Can't wait for part 2 tomorrow. Thank you so much, friends and family around the world, for being here. We really appreciate it. This show can also be heard on the Spanglish Radio Network. Check it out at spanglishworld.ca for all the news and programming. Spanglish World. Watch it, hear it, read it, download it, and live it. Thank you guys so much, and we'll see you soon.